Tottenham get battered. Hold on. Wait. Wow. Tottenham slapped 4 on Man City's head top in their own yard. How do you feel, Pep Guardiola? Brand new contract, 5 defeats in a row, losing to the chicken on a ball. Couldn't have happened to a nicer team. This is one kick from glory, and we're going to be talking about that and some other exciting games this weekend. I'm joined as always by Craig.
Yeah.
And Matthew.
Yes, sir.
We're going to start off at the Eithad. 4-0 win for Tottenham. It was as much of a shock for me as it was for some people. Certainly was for Guardiola, but it wasn't for Craig. Called it. He did say it was likely to happen, and it did. Talk us through your thoughts, Craig.
The way how I predicted the game is, I thought, you know what, I think Tottenham have got Man City's number. I'm not talking about this season, I'm talking about the last. Since Guardiola's been in the Premier League, it's found it difficult to beat Tottenham. I feel like they come with a plan. Even every manager Tottenham's had has always found a way to beat them. Mourinho, if it's not Mourinho, if it's not Conte, if it's not Pochettino, now we got Postecoglou. Did I say his name?
Yep.
He knows these managers have worked out how to play against City. I feel like Man City on Saturday was like watching attack versus defense in training. You know when you're doing the transition to Tottenham broke the press every single time, and I don't know, and they scored some great goals. Maddison, where's this Maddison come from? All of a sudden, he played well for a change. Maybe him sitting on the bench. Maybe him sitting on the bench is kind of woken him up a bit. I think, you know what? Let me try and get some minutes in, because, well, to be fair, he had a great game, man of the match for me. But I think man of the match was Kulusevski. The way how he destroyed, he was just running the show. Kind of reminded me of a peak De Bruyne running that midfield. The way how he got past certain man, he didn't care about reputations, and just did the thing for the team. Got a couple of assists there. Son had a good pass for the assist for Maddison's second goal. One of the goals that I have to say that I was shocked about Kyle Walker about was the fourth goal, when Werner came on and just outpaced him. That's 3 times this season Kyle Walker's been outpaced by an opposition winger, and he hasn't done anything, and he can't get back or anything. I think it was Werner ran past him. Kyle Walker thought, I'll give him enough time. I'll get him. Couldn't get him. Went past him, put the ball across the box, and a great finish from
Brennan
Johnson. But overall, I think Tottenham deserved to win the game because they played a better football. They wanted it more. And one last thing, Mr. Haaland telling Arteta to humble yourself. Well, it looks like you're getting humbled right now. The last couple of games you haven't scored or anything in the Premier League. Your form has been atrocious. So now, sometimes in life, I said things, don't disrespect your elders. He disrespected Arteta, who is a legend at City for what he did with Guardiola at the start of Guardiola's career at Man City. And now you want to disrespect him and throw balls in back of Gabriel's head. Karma came for you, mate. That's all I got to say.
I have to say, it couldn't have happened to a nicer team or a nicer guy. But I mean, it's just fascinating as well, because you said, again, like I said, Craig, you really believe Tottenham could do something in this match. I don't think any of us thought they would have scored this many goals and won this much. I mean, you thought they might win, maybe like a 2-1, whatever. I guess for you, Matthew, when you think about it, obviously, it just goes to show just how crazy this league is and how unpredictable everything can be. And on that note, this is now the 5th game in a row they've lost. We are in uncharted territory. I think it's the 6th in all competition, but 5th in the league. It's unprecedented. He's never been here before. He signed a new deal before all this madness happened. He's planning to be there for 2 more years. If we get more of this, Pep, sign another extension. But what do you think? How do you think they're going to respond to this in general?
They got Anfield next. They got Liverpool, and Liverpool are, we saw yesterday against Southampton, they got that relentless dog in them, man. They don't stop. They do not stop. And I was watching that game yesterday. I was like, oh yeah, Southampton might do something, make it a little bit more interesting. And I see the goal. I was like, come on, man! It's just one time, man. Come on, Southampton. I've been giving you nothing but trash this whole entire time. I mean, go ahead and do that. But then they did it with you, and then they did it with bloody Liverpool, and he gave him the second goal. McCarthy, as a goalkeeper, you have to commit. You have to commit to what you're going to do. Yes, the ball might end up in the net, but you can't 50-50 it. If you're going to go and slide in proper, go it. Yes, you hit run the risk of taking out the player, but you got to commit.
I don't think the ball was there for him to go for.
Or more likely, probably just leave it. If it was that far out, and considering how Salah quick he is, I'm probably just leaving it. Because, all right, yeah, again, in both scenarios, he probably is still going to score, but he's committed to a decision. Whereas that one is like, you can see it on look on his face, it was just like, he didn't feel comfortable giving it. But anyway, besides that, I mean, they've got Champions. Who have they got in Champions League next? They've got Liverpool on the weekends. I know that much, but the Champions League, they've got that coming up next as well. And that's coming off of a 4-1 beating from Sporting Lisbon as well. They got whooped. They got absolutely whooped in that game. So it's not even that so much they're getting beat. They're getting beat quite well. You know, Bournemouth, Brighton, Spurs, Lisbon. It's there's something.
Spurs twice.
Spurs twice. Oh yeah, the League Cup.
League Cup.
There's something going on. And you could train down to the fact that on the pitch they're not defending properly.
Well, they have a nice game coming up. They've got Feyenoord at home.
Final at the Etihad.
At the Etihad, yeah.
Yet we say that because I thought the City. I didn't think it'd be a massive win. Before it'd be like a 2-3-1 or something. But a 3-1 could be a tight game still. But it wasn't anywhere even like that. All right, they started well, but as the moment Spurs got their mojo, that was it. And I think like Kyle Walker must have had PTSD from that Champions League final those years ago, where he sees Timo Werner just running by like a Porsche or something, and he's overtaking him. He's like, I am not doing that again. But if you see with Kyle Walker, now he's not the only one, but I'm using him as an example, how this year the standard has dropped with him, because even the Arsenal game, it was his fault for one of the goals.
Yep.
And again, it was his fault for one of the goals. There's another high-profile game like this one where he's starting to feel that like he's 34 now. Yeah. And he's not going to be anywhere near as quick as when he first arrived from Spurs all those years ago. Other players on there as well. That team is getting quite old, and worse still, they're not. The players are replacing him. The ages are replacing it. They're running a lot of risk. You've got a lot of youngers in there, fair enough, but they're coming into a team that he's used to dominating and just beating down relentlessly with their possession and their build-up and their planning. They're the most patient team in the world. I remember once, FA Cup 2018, they played Wigan. And they were 1-0 down in the 80-something minute. They played the exact same way up until the whistle where they lost. Granted, they lost, but this team doesn't know the meaning of rush. But, you know, injuries haven't helped. Injuries have not helped, but then again, you are Man City. This is something that you should be used to. They're not defending properly, and also a lot of these players where it's like look at someone like Jack Grealish. Not how much he's fallen from grace, because he hasn't fallen from grace, but how much of a different player he is from when he arrived to Man City, and just how electric he used to be when he was at Aston Villa, and how he's almost like he doesn't remember how that is. De Bruyne clearly hasn't recovered from that injury. And he's getting on now as well. Ederson, has he ever one foot in Saudi or somewhere like that? Who knows? Rumours were going around with Haaland to Barcelona at one point. Has he been? Is there more going on than we think at this club? Because they're not. It's not like they're getting beat. They're getting beat convincingly, and that beating against Spurs was convincing.
Yeah, I think it's interesting as well in that game because, in a way, it shows you how fine the margins in football are as well. Man City had 23 shots to Tottenham's 9. Tottenham had 7 shots on target. Man City had 5 on target. Haaland had a lot of chances. Didn't get them on target. I think Foden had one hit the crossbar. A couple went just over. On a different day, Tottenham gets smashed 7 or 8 because of the quality of chances that Man City had. Obviously, Vicario made some brilliant saves. There's some great blocks in there. The post was their friend big time in that match. But I just think that I don't think they played badly, Man City. I think they played well enough to win the game. It's just that Tottenham were just electric on the break. They were very good on the break. Man City were very poor in the middle of the park, but Tottenham were sharp on the break, made the most of the opportunities they got. And like Maddison's first goal, that's just pure instinct to hit it like that. Second goal is just a thing of beauty. Porro's goal, it's just like the kind of goals you're watching thinking, how are you lot letting them get these chances?
Like FIFA goals.
It's ridiculous. Brendan Johnson one, like we said, I mean, there's no way he should be getting to the back post of that ball. Forget about what happened before then. How has he still got the ball unchallenged? You know, I mean, even that was a crossfield pass from Grealish. The midfielder just ducks out the way of the ball. Like, just he turns his back on it, and then it goes in, and Grealish is like, what are you doing? The guy's like, look, step to the ball and chest it. Why are you? It wasn't a bad pass from Grealish. It wasn't a great pass, but it wasn't a pass where you think, oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
It's one you had to work for a little bit. Just step forward and chest the ball.
Yeah.
But the guy did that.
There's one thing I want to say about another Grealish. Matthew was saying it's not the same player as Aston Villa. At Aston Villa, he had the free role. He could do whatever he wanted. He was the main man. He was the star player. He was their number 10. He was their captain. He was their talisman. Since he comes to City, he's not the main man. He has to play with players. I think it was Aguero there when he started.
Aguero was there, yeah.
Yeah.
Then Haaland, then Foden, then Doku's come in. He's never been the main man at City. He's always had to play a little small role, not a big role, small role. And I think Guardiola's kind of outcoached him the way his flair. Like Guardiola's not giving him the license to be a flair player. If you see how he is at Aston Villa, like he'll go into pockets and get the ball, do his thing. I wouldn't be surprised, I'm going to say this now. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets sold on in the summer or he wants to leave. I wouldn't be surprised.
A few others.
I think him will go. Carl Walker will definitely go in the summer. They'll get rid of him. Gundogan has not been a good signing for them. He struggled. Maybe they might move on De Bruyne. I think Ederson might say, you know what, I had enough now. I've won everything at City.
He's been wanting to.
Yeah, he wants to go to Saudi Arabia and maybe get out that big paycheck for his future career.
Grealish didn't play with De Bruyne. With Aguero. Aguero left.
With Haaland.
Yeah.
With Haaland, yeah.
Summer Aguero left, Grealish joined.
Who else might leave in the summer for Man City? I think that's about it, isn't it?
Kovacic, maybe.
Kovacic is a good player though.
Kovacic is doing well for them.
I think City might have a bit. If Guardiola is staying for the next 2 seasons, City might have a massive player out in the summer. And they might bring in a lot of younger players in, younger profile player.
Maybe
they might do that and try and rebuild for the future again. Because this team's gonna get broken up eventually. It can't last forever. Say if it happened to Man United, do you know what happened to Man United after they won the treble in '99? You can see. After they're still winning trophies, but you can see there's cracks in the team. A lot of the players were aged and need to be replaced. And that's when Arsenal won that league in 2002. Is because that old team was regenerating, getting new players in or whatever. So errors. I don't know if Man City's era is done or dominance is done. Only time will tell. But they're gonna have a massive rebuilding squad. So teams like Arsenal and Chelsea, who have got a young squad. I wouldn't be surprised if those 2 teams and Liverpool, them 2 and Aston Villa, them 4 teams right now I can think of are the teams that are going to challenge in the future to win Premier League titles, be title contenders. Maybe Man City might fall off a little bit and they might have to just challenge for like getting top 4 every season again until they can get this team back. I don't think Haaland will stay for long either. He might get fed up and say, you know what, I've won everything in England. I want to go have another. Because they can't. I think right now they're in contract negotiations right now with him to extend his contract, and he hasn't really signed anything yet. So he might get itchy feet and think, you know what, I won everything at Man City. I'm a club legend here. Let me go somewhere like a sunny Spain and enjoy Spain.
No, he's not a club legend yet.
Or he on
could
the verge.
become
He
one.
could become one if he stays longer.
He's a cult hero right now, but he's not a club legend yet.
Okay, well if he stays longer, then he'll be a club. But he might look at it and think, you know what. If it's going to be a team rebuild, do I want to stay with this project or will I want to move on and try and win trophies? Well, no way I can go to a club where they're going to win trophies instantly. And
I think what's helped him a lot is Guardiola extending his contract. I think that will probably make quite a few of the players who maybe have been thinking about what they want to do next, staying put. Obviously, we're looking over to Liverpool now, and I think they've won again. Have to say for Southampton, for crying out loud, can you guys not do one job?
Please.
Like it's not every day wide open. Sometimes make it difficult. Passing out from the back when they don't need to. Look, I think what's interesting with the game, watching it back, is that they were very aggressive. They were taking the game to Liverpool in a way that I didn't think they would. But the problem is, as is often the case with Liverpool, Southampton this season, is they make a mistake at the back and they just don't learn from it. What on earth McCarthy was doing at 2-1, ball played into the box. Where are you going? Where are you going?
Stay on the line.
But where are you going? I mean, look. At the end of the day, it's an exceptionally well taken goal by Salah because he has fooled the goalkeeper. Because under any other normal circumstance, Salah takes a touch there on his controls with his left foot, maybe controls with his right foot even to open up the angle onto his left. And if he takes a touch to control it, the keeper's the angle's gone.
Yeah.
What he didn't do, what he did, which the keeper didn't see, is just poke it into the empty net. Because the goalkeeper overcommitted in the run and went far too much to the left, thinking, right, I've got him. I'm going to make myself big. I'm going to intimidate Salah. So I was just like, dip. And I was like, it must be offside. Because I'm just watching thinking, wait, why is he stopped? The goalkeeper was like, huh? You can't do that. Like, his reaction was like, you can't do that.
No, but I think one plus for Southampton yesterday is that young kid who played yesterday. What's his name?
Tyler Dibben.
He's a baller.
Yeah.
He can play. He's going to get a big... If Southampton get relegated, most likely they're going to get relegated.
If...
They're going to get relegated. When? They're going to get relegated this season, but he's going to get a big move. Like, he deserves a big move to a better club. No disrespect to Southampton, but he can get a big move to a Newcastle, Aston Villa. Any team that's trying to get a young English talent, he deserves
like
a big
Premier
move.
League's like a 30 team, isn't it?
Yeah, 30 team, yeah.
But it shows that they don't... It shows that they can do it, though. It shows that they can... Didn't they only get beat? They played Man City quite recently, didn't they? And they only got beat 1-0. Where it could have been an absolute cricket score. So it shows in like the bigger games, at least, they can do it. It's just that when the playing out the back goes wrong, sometimes they revert to that for reasons I don't know why. Because even I was watching Match of the Day 2 yesterday, and even Russell Martin said the players had everything right. The players had absolutely everything right. He got it wrong. He took the flak for that defeat because they were good. They were good in that game. You have to be to get two goals against Liverpool, But so he took that on the chin. But it's just like you got the means to do it, to actually take it to these teams and actually compete. Why don't you?
But I honestly feel that he's a naive manager as well. He's a young manager, very naive. Like, he's going to make a lot of mistakes. He hasn't got the experience of the Premier League. Yes, he did win a championship last season, but when it comes to the Premier League, you're playing against world-class players. In a championship, you might get away with any type of pass to the ball out the box. The players might miss it. In the Premier League, you make one mistake in the Premier League, you're getting punished.
I agree. But at the same time, I think there's something to be championed about the fact that he wants to keep the playing style from the Championship into the Premier League. I don't have an issue with that. I think that's a noble thing to try.
Yeah.
I think we've seen that work successfully with teams like Leeds. We've seen it with Wolves, which everyone seems to forget about when they first came up. They played the same way.
Yeah.
It worked. When Fulham came back, similar. There's teams that have done it successfully and have become part of the fabric of the Premier League now, and you kind of forget that they've been in yo-yo situations. The only problem with Southampton is that there's a certain naivety with how they're doing it and when they're doing it. Even the fact that, which was ironic yesterday, when they had Paul Onuachu up front, the massive giant up top, never went long. As soon as he came off the pitch, it started going long. It's things like that. That's the kind of stuff that just annoys me. You got a big target, man. Lump it up to him. Let Van Dijk work. Let Konate have to do some work. No, you go short, you go short, you go short. And the problem with that is, this is kind of the thing where, again, Salah's a genius of a player, and what he did was a sensational goal and a great penalty to win it, round it off. But when you're 2-1 up in a situation like that, you don't give a team at Liverpool anything. The midfield disappeared when the ball got played through. Goalkeeper, again, where are you going? Where are you going? There's no need to, there's no danger of Salah getting the ball there initially. Let him get to the ball first, and then give your backline a chance to try and get back. To try. That being said, there was a foul on Armstrong. It was a coming together, I should say, rather, between Armstrong and Kelleher in the box. Matthew, do you think it was a penalty, or did the referee and VAR miss it?
I think it was. I mean, you can look at it, you think it was a harsh one or a soft one, but the way I'm looking at it, because they did a lot of angles on the whole take. And you see the guy tugging the guy's shirt. All right, they're tugging each other's shirts, but the way that Kelleher comes in completely and utterly misses the ball. All right, and yes, he's a goalkeeper, so the risk of that is happening, but there's just no intent of him going anywhere near that ball. And yet I'm watching on Sky Sports. It's, man, sometimes.
I know.
And then you see it. You saw it. And he's the guy is saying like, oh, he's pulling there's 2 fouls going on. So if at least 2 fouls is going on, you've got to call one of them. And even the people around the guy were just like, what? You sure? So for me, that's what Liverpool's for.
And to give it as a free kick to Liverpool.
Exactly.
I don't understand. I'm like, how? Maybe they're saying he ran into the goalkeeper. Maybe
Of course, he's going to run into the goalkeeper. He's going for the ball. But that's a risk he has. That's
the
a risk.
keeper doesn't get the ball.
The keeper. It would have been fine if the keeper got the ball, even if he's kicked it with a swinger's toe and the
Yeah.
ball gets thing. VAR finds that. That's different. But the ball was nowhere near there. And there was two. Konate backs off. The other defender's still holding onto his shirt.
Yeah.
So it depends on which fouls you're looking at first. But even then, he clatters him out. So at least still then, that's a penalty because that's the thing with penalties. There's no guarantee you're going to score them.
Yeah.
No guarantee. So for me, at least that's a penalty.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit of a strange decision, but at the end of the day, I think ultimately Liverpool are showing that they have got that mark. They've got that mark of champions. Big game coming up for them next. We're going to talk about all the predictions at the end. But Craig, do you think now? How do you feel Liverpool is shaping up?
They're doing well. They're doing excellent football. Like 10 out of 10. They did well. I think you guys have to remember they did well at the top of the league last season. Remember?
Yep.
And they had that massive game that cost them was the FA Cup game against Man United in the spring. Was it spring? Or was it? Yeah.
You have to be because the FA Cup's on
It's in the
next
spring
year,
when they went to Old Trafford and they were winning and they lost that game. From that game, their form went downhill. They lost against some teams that they shouldn't have lost to, and Klopp's final season they were in a run for 4 trophies last season: Europa League, Premier League,
Yes.
FA Cup,
Yeah,
League Cup,
yeah.
and only won 1 trophy, the League Cup. A lot of people are forgetting how they just bottled it. In a way, they did kind of bottle it because they were top of the league. They sort of, if they had more about them, they sort of sort it out and won the league. Won at least 2 or more trophies at least. The Europa League they lost against Leverkusen, wasn't it? No, Atlanta,
yeah.
the champions of Europe. So what I'm saying is Slot is doing a good job right now. What I would say is the crunch time, like December and January, when the games are thick and fast, when you're playing 2 games in 3 days or you know what I mean? That's
and the FA Cup starts.
And the FA Cup starts as well. That's when you want to see how Liverpool cope. When in players like Van Dijk might get a little niggle, you might have to rest him. Because I've had no serious injuries this season, to be fair.
They've had Alisson out. He's been out.
Yeah, but they got a good backup, and Kelleher's a good backup.
True.
Keller has.
He used to be a number 1 somewhere.
Yeah.
He's done a good job. They haven't lost since he's been in goal. They've got Joss has been injured, but Nunes has stepped up. Hasn't scored a lot of goals, but his presence in the boxes, feeding off other
I
players.
think they've had Trent and Robertson out. It's for slight periods.
Yeah.
Trent's been out injured,
But
but
nothing too major.
Nothing they can't cope without.
But their replacements are good quality as well.
True.
So that they have the squad, but have they got the minerals to get over the final line? All I'm saying is if they beat Man City on Sunday, it'll be 12 points clear.
It'll be their league to lose.
And it'll be their league to lose. Then, if they win their other games up to now on Christmas, if they go 15, 17, 18 points clear, then I say they'll go on and win it. But one thing you got to understand about football is, football's not a fair game. You might be good on paper on the day, but if you don't do the basics right, you can lose that game. Man City might thinking, no, everyone's thinking Liverpool are the favourites. Liverpool are the favourites to beat Man City on Sunday. Let's be real. They're the favourite. They're the home team, and Liverpool's record against Man City at Anfield is amazing. They haven't lost. I don't think they've only lost 1 game at Anfield. I think they haven't lost a lot of games there. Liverpool against Man City at home, so they'll be going into the game thinking we've got Anfield, the 12th man. We're gonna go there and do our thing and try and beat Man City, but Man City are gonna be. We've lost 6 games in a row. We need to make sure that doesn't be 7. In all competitions, they're going to be up for it. Guardiola's not going to make them put out a team that's going to go out there to lose. If he has to drop Kyle Walker, he'll drop who he has to drop to go and win that game. But it's going to be an interesting game. What I would like for that game is a draw. As a neutral, a draw would be perfect. But just to stop Liverpool from running away with the title straight away, make it more competitive, and then see what other teams can do in between that in the other games on the weekend. Just to make it more of a thing. Because Arsenal play before Man City, I think. Arsenal play on the Saturday against West Ham. I think Chelsea play on the Sunday or Saturday.
People play on the. I think it might be the first. It might be a Sunday. No, it is a Sunday because we got Europa League.
Yes,
Conference League.
So Chelsea will play on the Sunday.
Chelsea. Sorry. Yeah, keep going.
Chelsea will play on the Sunday. So Arsenal will have a chance to get to second on Saturday if they beat West Ham away. And then if Arsenal win that game and we go second, then the pressure will be on Man City to beat Liverpool on Sunday. And then Chelsea have to win their game to get back up at the top of the
I think
table.
it's Villa we got next. In Premier League way, I think it's Villa.
It's going to be an interesting game. Both guys have got European football, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
We're gonna see indeed. It's gonna be one interesting weekend. So yeah, Chelsea Villa is coming up on Sunday before the big game that rounds it all off, which is Liverpool versus Manchester City. There's another Merseyside Manchester game in Manchester United versus Everton also on Sunday, but we'll talk about all of those at the very end. Let's get on to the Chelsea, whose 2-1 defeat at the King Power Stadium.
Win.
Sorry, I know why I said defeat. Who beat Leicester 2-1 at the King Power Stadium. So Chelsea won, just for clarification. Led to our first managerial casualty of the season. Probably not our last. But again, the man, Nicholas Jackson, is getting goals. And Enzo Fernandez, also doing some good stuff for once.
Slowly
finding his feet.
He's not out of my jail yet, but he's getting there.
But yeah, I think thoughts.
Happy days, man. Yeah, Nicholas Jackson, he's definitely improved from last year. He's becoming more and more of a certified kind of player. His finishing is improved. He's not being offside all the time. I mean, like the finish against Liverpool as well last year. That's an offside goal, but he's managed to keep himself very firmly on. And yeah, his hold-up play is improving as well, because there were two defenders around him at the time, and he still managed to get a really kind of cool off the side boot finish right up into the corner. So he's making all the right moves. 7 goals already in November, so he's already kind of on target to match what he did last year. But I'm just pleased to see that how he's putting a lot of doubters to rest, because he's shown how there's more of a maturity to his game. And that's always kind of thing that I've kind of been wary about the Chelsea team. That's the maturity. I don't know what Enzo has done or what he is doing with this team, but there's a much more of a sense of belief in that kind of like, we can come through that to get something like this. I mean, this is probably a fixture we would have won anyway last year, but I'm having no doubts. Even if they scored first, I'm like, this team will come back and do, something. And more importantly, it kind of answers the questions on the whole striker thing, because even though he's not an out-and-out striker, it shows that he can play there. He's fit, with the finishing alone, is improving like so much. I remember last year against Bournemouth, he skyward all the way back to Southampton or something. And this time round, his finishing is really improved, and he's doing really, really well. So I got a lot of confidence in him, where he's like just moving that little bit more into the centre now, playing off Cole Palmer as well. So man, the boy's doing good, man. The boy's doing real good.
No, he's definitely stepping up and doing really well. And I think it's important that Maresca now has getting close to that settled 11. I think he made a couple of changes this weekend with João Felix getting a start. Fernandez coming in, because usually I think it's Lavia, partners, Caicedo in the middle, and the back four. We've got Badia Shield coming back into it.
Great game.
And that's important for him to get these, good performances. Obviously, Gusto rested. Fofana played right back this time. So it's just interesting to see how, he's getting options from his squad. You have a lot of players. You describe them as 2 squads. And then some. But it's good to see that there's competition building. There's players that are looking like they're going to show what they can do. And it's just going to be important for you to just keep building on that fluency, because that's what's going to help come the business end of the season. That being said, Craig, how obviously we talk a lot about teams in transition. Leicester coming up, you would have thought, doing well in the Championship, they're going to bring the Premier League in and kind of replicate that form. And it's not quite worked out so far for them. Obviously, we've seen Steve Cooper get the chop now as a result. Apparently, a senior player went to the ownership and complained about dressing room stuff. How true that is, we don't know. But what's your kind of view on Leicester, and where do they go now next? Who would you think they should bring in, considering their former manager beat them 2-1 at the weekend?
Van Nistelrooy.
I've heard about that.
I think Van Nistelrooy will do a good job at Leicester. I feel like he'll earn the respect of senior pros like Damien Vardy, and he's the kind of player that they need to work on finishing. He'll show them how to put the ball in the back of the net. He'll be a good child. I think what's his name again? Graham Potter might be a good shout as well.
I was thinking that.
Graham Potter. I think he likes a small team. I think he likes working with small teams. He started with team in Norway. Played against Arsenal in the Europa League. I think he beat Arsenal in the Europa League, didn't he?
Östersunds.
Yeah. He's the kind of manager that will go to a small club and give the average player a boost and get them playing top level football. But
But let's remember, we're talking about a Premier League champion who've won the league more recently than our club. Just put some respect on Leicester's name.
No, I'm not. But
I
obviously,
hear you, but I just want to add that in for Leicester fans. bro.
I like Leicester, innit? I got a soft spot. I like Leicester because I think when they won the league, it was a shock to everyone. If you put a bet on that time, you'd have won an awful lot of money at that time when Leicester won the league.
Yeah.
I'm not saying to gamble, I'm saying as an example. But Leicester went through manager after manager after they won that league. They got relegated with a Brendan Rodgers team. He got sacked, he left. I think he got sacked or he left. My mutual consent before end of the season that season. But Leicester played some great football in the Premier League. They had players like Kante. They had players like Mahrez. They had players like Maddison. They had a great goalkeeper in Castle Schmeichel. They had Granddad Wes Morgan at the back.
Captain Rum.
Captain Morgan, you know. And you had players like what's that guy who won the league? What's his name again?
Which guy?
He's at Crystal Palace now.
Jeffrey Schlupp.
He was a good player for them
Schlupp,
as well.
He was good, yeah.
He was good. And I thought that Leicester team and had Albrighton was a good winger for them as well.
Very good player.
They had some great players at Leicester. And I thought what happened to Leicester, them get relegated. Tillemans as well was a good player. And they won the FA Cup against Chelsea.
They did win it,
yeah. Rodgers won that trophy for them.
That goal.
That screamer. So I feel like what happened the following season when they got relegated after that, I feel like it was just bad planning and bad signings. Because they bought him past that Daka guy, Patson Daka. Hasn't worked out for him.
No.
Awful lot of money they paid for him and didn't work out for him. Kelechi and Nacho is not there anymore. He had a up and down spell with them.
I think he was good, I didn't think he got enough minutes.
Yeah, that
I don't
season.
think he never
chances,
was given a proper
No.
run to see what he could do, but he was a sharp goal scorer.
Yeah, and they had Wilson and Didi. He's been good for them. He was loyal to them as well. He could have left and lost in the championship. He stayed with them and came back off with them. When I look at Leicester's team now, they've got some good players in their team, young players in their team, like Mavididi. He played for Arsenal, he's in the Arsenal Academy, went to Juventus, got to move back to Leicester. He's a good player. They got some good young players in their team. Their goalkeeper is very good as well. Leicester's goalkeeper.
Amundsen.
He made some good saves against Arsenal a month or two ago. He was good. So I thought Leicester got some good players. They just need a good coach who can unlock that potential out of them.
But I guess also as well, when you've been managed by a very progressive manager in Enzo Maresca and you go into Steve Cooper, who's not a bad manager, I think Forest fans would admit that when he got fired, they were pretty disappointed.
Yeah.
Even though it was understood why.
Yeah.
I think both club and manager felt they need to have a clean break. It's a bit of a shame, but it's very hard then to go to a different style of football. That's why, like, even people saying stuff like, "Oh, David Moyes could be a shout for that job." I don't see it because again, you'll just be going to a more conservative manager from the one you just had. Now, Moyes might do a great job keeping them up, stabilizing things. Yeah. Maybe he might take the job for that reason. But do they want a more progressive coach, and are they willing to take the bumps that come with it?
Yeah.
Because if they got a Potter, it might take a bit of a while for him to kind of get them flowing the way they want, and it might have a couple of bad results.
So who would you guys recommend they go for then as a manager, like a good attacking manager? If they're good, I think Leicester like attacking football, isn't it? They like to see their players on the front foot, not defending all the time. They want them on the front foot. Who would you go for? Who's available that you could say, you know what, we'll offer you whatever you want, we'll give you whatever budget, give you a nice little transfer budget in January. Who do you go for? Who's available right now? Because the available managers right now is very limited right now. There's not a lot of available managers that you could say, okay, come and take this job. That's why I said Van Nistelrooy and I said Graham Potter, because them two are available right now. And you wouldn't have to pay a transfer compensation fee to either of them. Just give them a wages and give them a contract and do a job for them. So who would you guys go for?
I mean, if they could pull off that kind of, because the thing with clubs now, especially clubs that certain parts of the table, the ambition is high. The ambition is very, very high. So we're not going for any Tom, Dick or Stanleys. Look at Villa, for example, going for Unai Emery, a prolific European winner, to the point that they're in the Champions League. And all right, the form's dipped a little bit.
Yeah,
it was always going to,
of course.
But now they've gone from having Steven Gerrard as a manager, struggling for relegation, to not longer beating Bayern Munich in their home patch. Ambition changes. So, I mean, for Leicester, again, they won a championship, they won the FA Cup recently, they won the Community Shield against Man City, and of course, there's that Premier League. That's kind of always going to be a feather in their cap. So you can probably say they can go for a middling manager who's not going to be too expensive to get, but cheap enough to get that they can still play some really good stuff, and who's used to working with a club where the players have a point to prove, and probably is available right now, if I'm not sure, and that's De Zerbi.
No, it's not. Is that Marseille?
He's at Marseille.
Yeah, Marseille
He would have been a
manager's
great...
still- He's not left yet. So the five. So I'm just gonna name 5 managers that the bookies are putting at as potential options for the job. So we've got Graham Potter, who is top with 6-4 odds to be the next manager. David Moyes next, 3-1. Ruud van Nistelrooy, 7-1 odds to be manager. Carlos Corberán at West Brom at 12-1, and Mark Robbins at 16-1. Corberán will be an interesting one because West Brom are doing really well in the Championship.
Very good.
Progressive football, very exciting. Graham Potter makes the most sense because he's available. He's had a couple of years out to learn from his experience at Chelsea, what went right, what didn't go right, what he went well at Brighton, what he can incorporate back into the game. He's probably spent some time looking at other clubs, what they do. David Moyes, he's probably looking at West Ham thinking, he did say after they let him go, he did say, be careful what you wish for. In a roundabout way. And look at how it's not really working out well for them. And then Van Nistelrooy had a good end to his short spell at Man United, so he might feel like, I want to give it a good, fair crack and see how I get on. I just don't think it's worth the risk for Leicester. And I think realistically, I would say one of the top 2.
Yeah.
I think they got to think, let's stabilise, and then like what their ambitions for this season, where they were looking for like a top half finish or whatever, I think survive.
Built for next season.
Prioritize survival,
yeah,
and plan. But then don't bring in a manager that you're not gonna want to have in 2 years' time. I think a Potter will be a good one because you can build with him. Potter will want to rebuild his reputation anyway, so that'll be interesting. Because again, I like that. Just bigger picture here. Tuchel as England manager, very controversial decision for a lot of people for many reasons, mostly because of his nationality and also the fact that he's not English.
Yeah.
But there's not really many English managers that you could think of that you would give a top job to that are elite in what they do. There's there's good English managers. There's promising English managers. There's managers that don't get a fair crack. Sean Dyche would be an example. I say that I don't think gets a fair crack based on his reputation. So if you look at what he does with his teams, he's a really good manager. But because of the teams he manages and where they are in the table, generally he doesn't get a good reputation. Eddie Howe's the same. You're not quite sure because of the run he had in Europe with Newcastle last season. So he's kind of dented the perception. Potter was seen as the next great thing. So this could be a great job. Stay at Leicester for a couple seasons, and then when Tuchel's contract's up,
bang, go for England job.
That could open up, and then everyone's happy, right? Leicester will be cemented back in the Premier League again. They can get a more adventurous manager to build on to the next phase. England can then say, right, we've got our well-developed well-developed English managers come take over from Tuchel. Tuchel can go back into club football at that point, because who knows who's looking for a manager by then? Man City could be looking for someone.
Arsenal,
that
maybe.
Could be a job. Arsenal, maybe. Liverpool, maybe.
Yep.
Depending on how things go.
Anyone.
Maybe even a trip down memory lane and go back to your love that you won a Champions League with in Chelsea. Maybe.
You never know, man.
You can't rule anything out. So it could open up a lot of possibilities. So I think that would be a nice move for all parties concerned. Van Nistelrooy would be an interesting, funny one.
And he said Mark Robbins as well. I think Mark Robbins, he did an excellent job at Coventry. He almost got them promoted as well.
Got them promoted.
He got to a cup final as well.
Final. He got the semi-final against Man United.
Against Man United. They were very unlucky. I think they should have won that cup.
Yeah, they were winning.
VAR robbed them, didn't they?
VAR basically said nope.
Yeah, so...
And he's available.
But the thing is, Leicester and Coventry have a big rivalry in it, Midlands rivalry in it. So it'd be like another Cooper, they might want another Cooper situation because Cooper married managed Nottingham Forest, and that's their rival. So I definitely want another rival manager to manage their club in it.
I don't know, man, but
fans are very fickle like that. They don't like rival managers from their rivals coming to their club
until they start winning.
Yeah,
until they start winning.
That's it.
The winning will change everything.
If you win,
you're a legend. You're a hero.
Mate.
Speaking of winning, Arsenal, after a blip with our captain now back, leading the charge, nice, tidy 3-0 win at home. Can't complain. Very happy. Ranieri gets his first Arsenal goal in the league. Got one in the League Cup recently, the first league goal for the club. Sterling assist. And what's ironic about Ranieri's goal is it's very, very similar to Patino's first goal for Arsenal. In that the cutback from the same, someone put two goals side by side. Cutback from the same area of the pitch, same type of finish, side foot, just leaning into it. Same part of the goal it goes into. It's an Arsenal thing, man. It's an Arsenal thing.
I'm proud of the boys on Saturday. You know, I was talking on another podcast about we need to win this game just to get confidence and form up now. We've got a massive game tomorrow against Sporting Lisbon. That's going to be a big test for us because they're a good team and they just lost their manager. But they got some dangerous players in the team like Victor Gokeres, who could potentially be a potential Arsenal player, maybe next summer. We'll see how it goes. But he could be a problem tomorrow. So Saliba and Gabriel better be eating their Weetabix and make sure they're ready for him because he's got pace. He can run. So, yeah, all the best tomorrow.
Yeah, we just got to keep building on this momentum. Obviously, great goals from Saka, brilliant goals, open the scoring, dancing through the defence, and then just hitting the shot before the keeper could react. And then Thomas Partey with a wonder goal from outside the box. You know, it's about time he put one in.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those games that I'm just like, we won, that's it, move on. Like, I don't really have much. I don't have much else to say. I think we've dropped so many points in such stupid ways this season that now we have a mountain to climb to catch up to Liverpool, who are 9 points ahead of us. So it just makes the weekend get even more pressurized. We don't even have a game in hand or anything on them. It's 12 games played. We've got 22 points, and they've got 31 points. Man City got 23.
If you know the mad thing as well, yeah? If we beat Man City at the Etihad, if the referee never cheated, the referee cheated in that game, innit? With the stoppage time.
You can
beat
say,
Man City.
You can say that if you want.
If we beating Liverpool at home and we're 2-1 up, I'm going to get the third and fourth goal. So many chances. That's 6 points.
I think there's been a lot of games where we've just not done what we need to do.
Brighton at home when Declan Rice got sent off and never saw out the game. That's another 3 points dropped. That's 9 points. Chelsea the other day when we could have beaten them. Sorry, Matthew, but away. Had chances to win that game.
Chances. I think it was an even game. But you're right. There's chances there. Could have got more.
That's 12 points. 50. So 12 points dropped. So then 12 points, we've been in the top of the table.
Yeah.
So it goes to show, innit?
But at the same time, Man City said the same thing about the games they've lost this season as well. But you're right. I think we need to do more and do better. We need to keep the momentum going. I'm just happy with the fact that, you know, I got to see some nice house football again. And it's been, you know, it's one of those things in this league where you just need to keep performing and do well. And obviously, we are going to talk about what's coming next because it never stops in the Premier League. The games come thick and fast. There's a game going on right now between West Ham and Newcastle, and West Ham are winning 1-0 at the current time of recording. Goal scored by Thomas Souček on the 14th minute. Souček on the 10th minute. 10 minutes in, sorry, Souček scored the first goal. And, you know, we'll see how that pans out.
West Ham at home?
Newcastle are at home.
Wow.
No. So West Ham do what needs to be done. Just keep it up, lads, keep it up. But looking ahead to the weekend's fixtures, match week 13 in the Premier League, we have some big ones on the horizon. So, first up, Friday night, live, Brighton versus Southampton.
Brighton win.
Derby game.
This could be a draw, you know. If they can do what we did against Liverpool, this could be a draw. I'm going for a 2-2. I'm going to give Russell Martin a bit of credit.
Okay. I'm going to back Southampton.
Okay. So 2 against 1, yeah? Okay.
Because I just think someone has to.
Okay. I want Leeds back. All right.
Same here, to be fair, same here.
I'm going to back Southampton. I'll stick with it. I'll back Southampton. I might be wrong again. Anyway, Brentford versus Leicester.
Brentford win. They're good at home.
Brentford win.
Brentford win. Yeah, Brentford win. Crystal Palace versus Newcastle at Selhurst Park.
I think Palace might beat them, you know. I've got a feeling they played so well against Aston Villa the other day. If they can keep that intensity up and just don't concede some stupid goal like they did for Aston Villa again the other day, I think Crystal Palace are going to win that.
Okay.
I'm with him. I think Crystal Palace were very unlucky not to win. Very unlucky.
Newcastle, for me, they're going to bounce back from this night's defeat. Nottingham Forest versus Ipswich.
Why? You know what, yeah?
Ooh.
Ipswich played so well yesterday against Man United, you know. That Hodgson
well.
goal was disgusting. What a goal.
Oof, what a finish.
You know he came from the Arsenal Academy. Or Arsenal Chelsea. Or he was at Chelsea first, came to Arsenal, then went to Chelsea. But he's got ability. He's got ability.
It's a good goal.
I'll say a draw.
Sure.
think Forest are going to bounce back. I want Ipswich to win, but I think Forest are going to bounce back.
Yeah, I want Ipswich to win too, so I'm going to back them. Wolves versus Bournemouth.
If Wolves play like how they play against Fulham on Saturday against every team this season, they win more games than they lose. So I'm going to back Wolves to win this game.
Okay.
That was it. Cunha, the two.
Yeah.
Cunha, yeah.
You got a hat trick.
Yeah, but you see that first goal.
Yeah, disgusting.
Touch.
Bergkamp would have been proud.
Yeah.
Against Bournemouth, I like Wolves. I like Gary O'Neill. We like Gary O'Neill.
They all do.
I'm gonna go for another stunner. 3-2 Wolves.
Yeah, because they need to get the win at the weekend was their first back-to-back win since earlier back in the last season. So yeah, I'm glad they got that result and it's necessary for them. They're at the bottom 3 for now. They got to keep pushing up. West Ham, Arsenal at the London Stadium.
Arsenal away win.
It has to be.
It's gonna be a tight win. 2-1. 2-1 Arsenal win.
I think we'll see how it goes tonight for them, but I do think we're going to just give them a little bit of trouble. Declan Rice to score again. 4-1. Chelsea versus Aston Villa at the Bridge.
This is going to be a hard one because they are stuttering, but at any point, we don't like playing them at the best times. So I'm going to go for 1-0.
1-0 Chelsea.
1-0 Chelsea. Nicholas Jackson again.
You know, I feel if Aston Villa turns off against Liverpool and against us this season, I feel that they could lose that game. But if Aston Villa turn off against Bayern Munich, and they could cause Chelsea a lot of problems. So I'm gonna go for a draw.
I'm going for a big Chelsea win. I think you're going to smash them at home.
Okay, cool.
Between 4-0 or 3-1 or 4-1 or 5-0. I think you're going to score a lot of goals.
We'll do a Spurs on them.
Man United versus Everton at Old Trafford.
Man United win. Has to be. He needs his first win as a manager. Armour and Trude yesterday. He needs to get some wins on the board. Rashford had a good game. Everyone doesn't give Rashford the credit sometimes, but he had a great game yesterday. He was running. I think he's better as a centre forward. I said that from day one. He's a centre forward. He's not a winger. He's a natural centre forward. The guy can score goals. Stop playing him on the wing just to suit some other average players you paid over stupid money for. Play the guy, academy boy, knows United inside out, wears the number 10 shirt for United, playing through the middle. Man United win.
Yeah, it's going to be Man United win. You know what else is doing well for United is Onana.
True.
He's improved a lot.
He got man of the match
And yesterday he kept it at 1-1. He kept it at 1-1. So I'm going for a 3-1 United win.
Man United need to win, and I'd expect them to win. However, I'm going to go for an Everton win because I think Sean Dyche is going through a bit of a thing with that club. And I think they need to, they're on 15th on 11 points. So they're okay-ish, but looking down rather than looking up. I think they need a victory, and I can see Calvert-Lewin surprising everyone and getting a goal for the first time in a long time, and it being enough. I can see it being a 1-0 Everton win against Man United at home. Spurs versus Fulham.
Why? You know what? You know the thing with Spurs, yeah?
They're so Spursy, I know.
They'll beat Man City of 4-0 and they'll lose to Fulham of 4-0. Like how they lost against Ipswich the other day.
So true.
It can happen.
So you can't these games you can't predict who's gonna win, but I'm backing my ex-Hell Len boys at Arsenal, Smith Rowe. They know what this game's about. They hate Spurs. They're gonna get a lot of stick from the Spurs fans, call them Arsenal rejects, whatever. So I'm gonna back Fulham to win.
Okay.
I think this might be a draw. I think it's going to be a much tighter game than we think. I think Fulham lost because they used all their subs and could only play with 10 men anyway. So, but because that's not the Fulham that we know. Fulham are actually on really good form. So I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw.
I'm going to do something I've not done in this podcast before, and it'll be the first, not the last time, maybe soon the last time. Spurs win. I see momentum. I think they'll do it.
I got this first game right against Man City, but I'm not backing them this week. I'm backing Fulham, man. I think Fulham boys. I think Fulham are going to do them.
So back to regular service.
Back to regular service. I'm going to back Fulham this
back
week,
to
man.
business as usual.
Back to business.
And then the game that ends the weekend, Liverpool versus Man City. I know what I want, but it's what's going to happen.
I feel, honestly, if Man City play like how they played the last 5 games, Liverpool will sweep them. Could be a big scoreline as well if they play how they played recently. If they don't defend properly, don't take the game seriously, having their wing backs playing as, having the wingers being inverted in, tucked in, Liverpool, Salah will have a field day. Mo Salah will rip them to shreds. So I'm gonna say if Man City play on even, it's like a boxing, isn't it? Like Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Everyone thought Mike Tyson was gonna mash up Jake Paul. Didn't work out that way.
Not everybody. If you're into boxing, you knew that was never going to happen.
Well, I think the two heavyweights in the league who've been challenging for the last decade or so, I back Liverpool to win this game.
Okay.
I think this is going to be a stalemate. I think this is going to be a 1-1. I think after the final game, which City should be winning, I think it's to give them a bit of a confidence boost, but not enough to come up against a Liverpool team that always seem to find a way. So let's say Guardiola gets a goal and Salah gets another goal, and I'm calling it. That's what I'm going to call it. It's going to be it's going to be tense. It's going to be tense.
I am backing Man City to win.
Fair enough.
I think you can't lose that many games in a row. Something's got to click eventually. Liverpool are very good, but they're also very vulnerable. And some of the things they're doing in midfield, I think, can be exploited. If Southampton can cause you problems, Man City can cause you trouble. Headache. Before we go, I do want to talk about possible transfers in January. Now, one player that I was talking to my friend Mo the other night, and we were talking about like potential strikers that could make a move to Arsenal. And a name came up, which at the time, because this was on Friday, we had a catch up. At the time, I wasn't really sure whether he needed another move before making a move to the top team. But now, the more I think about it, stylistically, what he does with the ball, how he plays, Matthias Cunha, I think would be an amazing signing in January for Arsenal as a striker. Now, I know what you're thinking because his numbers, he's not the most prolific. But I think play style wise, the way he plays as a striker, he drops off the line. It's a lot like watching. To me, it's like if Dennis Bergkamp was into doing stepovers and all that kind of stuff. Because it's like Neymar, but the light version. Not the little version, like the light version. Because he's got the flicks and tricks. And he kind of reminds you a bit of Neymar, but not really, because he doesn't do the stuff Neymar would do the way he does it. But, you know.
If I was going to buy a striker from like a low league team in the Premier League, I'll go for João Pedro at Brighton. I thought he can finish. He has to shoot. He
can. My only thing with João Pedro is I think it would cost a lot more. I mean, Wolves wouldn't want to let go of Matthias Cunha, but I feel like if a club like Arsenal came in for him, I think he would probably say, look, I kind of want to get that chance to step up again to another big...
I don't know. Cunha, I like him, and I don't know, his numbers, it's just his numbers for me. He could be another Jesus where he starts off well, gets an injury, then doesn't do anything again. And that's the thing I worry. We need to get an elite striker in, I would say.
With Jesus, you felt like if it was one win out of spite of him, not because of him.
Yeah.
City, because even when Aguero was scoring, Sterling was.
Yeah.
And with a Jesus, I get what you mean. I do get what you mean with him. He would chip in now and then, but there was a reason why he wasn't starting every other time. It's because they knew leading a line, he kind of buckles under the pressure. Now with how was Cunha again?
25.
26.
So they're still workable thing. And let's not be let's remember, you took on Ramsdale when he got relegated and you finished second in the league. You took on, who else you take on? And people were like, oh yeah, your manager. You took on your damn manager. He won you an FA Cup.
Yep.
And he won you the Champions League.
And also, I feel like when you look at the attributes that Matthias Cunha would bring to Arsenal, he's a player that would help Martinelli get more goals because he would drift into those areas. He can come off the line. I look at him as, I agree with you. He's not as prolific. He's not prolific, but he's one of the top goal scorers this season. He's up there with the big boys. So I think he's the kind of player who you move him to a team like ours where. You know, now he's got 7 goals.
So you're playing with better players.
Haaland's got 12, Salah's got 10, and Burma's got 8, Chris Wood's got 8, and he's got 7, and Jackson's got 7, and Palmer's got 7. He's in a great company.
Yeah.
The thing is, that's how I worry that when we buy these players who are not elite, I'm only saying as a perspective.
I'm also saying it as a January move, not a summer move. Summer move, you look at your Ishak, maybe Osimhen.
Those kinds,
you know.
So as a stopgap, if it was a stopgap to replace Jesus, say we sold Jesus in January, and then replace him for Jesus. Yes, I would say go for him as a stopgap. I was going to be cheap. Maybe we can get him for like 40, 50 million.
I'm not even saying Jesus. I'm saying ship out Trossard and bring in Mateus Cunha. That's who I'm
Trossard.
saying. That's who I'm saying for.
That's
That's who I'm saying for.
And we're going to play him.
Who? Cunha.
Yeah.
Well, Jesus can play wide now since he's not doing it through the middle, and Cunha, they can all rotate. My thing is about I want players that are gonna make a difference for our team. Trossard has done well, but we can move him on now.
So you want difference makers?
I want difference
You want
makers.
people that can change a game on the drop of a dime.
I want a player who you can get who you up against a tight block. There's no. Have you seen the passes that this guy does in matches? He picks out players and you don't know how he's found them. That touch he did to score that first goal the other day. He's got no right to bring that ball down and score.
I'm gonna take a look. I'm gonna watch him a bit more closely and see what I think. Cause
he can do it, and
Gary O'Neill is very good. Like getting
a lot out of players.
And he speaks highly of him.
And hypes highly of. That's what I read about Gary O'Neill. But I like him as a manager. I feel that he wasn't the greatest Premier League player, but he did a job for Portsmouth when he was at Portsmouth.
Yeah,
and that's what you need. I think was that Bolton as well, or was that just Portsmouth?
I think it was Portsmouth. He was at
When he was at Portsmouth, it's like a utility man. Like give him the water carrier, give him the job, give him the ball. He'll just pass it to the better players and they do their thing. I think as a manager, he realised his limit. He knows his limit wasn't a great player, but sometimes great players make great managers because they didn't have the skill sets of being an elite, like a top player playing for England and playing for their big countries and whatever. But he can see the game, and he can see a player that he can make an average player to become a good player.
Well, also, just talking on his numbers. So last season he scored 12 goals from 32 games, right? This year he's already got 7 from 12.
So he'll beat that record in no time.
So for me, I'm seeing a progression in what a player can do. And last season I was starting to see the goals he was scoring. I was watching thinking, oh, okay, something's bubbling there with him. Like it's starting to click. So I mean, I'm intrigued to see what would happen if he made that.
Maybe he's a late developer because some players develop late, and I think he's one of the late developers. I would say.
I remember he was at Atletico Madrid. They got him for big money, and it didn't work out there. Obviously, Simeone, it's very difficult to be successful if you're a flair player under him. So, but he's one. I mean, we mentioned Evan Ferguson, but obviously he's gone off the ball a lot. I would take him at Arsenal as a project. As an Nketiah replacement. Osimhen is a very interesting one because he's got that weird deal in his loan contract where a big club can come from and he can make the move. So
would you go for Osimhen though?
Yes.
If it's available, 45 million, slap it on the table, Napoli take it, bang, go. Or we have to offer him maybe a 300-week contract.
I don't think we have to offer him that much money, but I think because of how they messed up the summer, I think he's changed his agents anyway.
Okay.
So I think they'll negotiate a more reasonable deal. I think it's more a chance to move to one of the elite clubs.
Maybe Arsenal, Chelsea. But Chelsea don't need him now because they already got Jackson and they got Nkunku.
They want to stop us from getting him.
Yeah.
You guys agreed like that, yeah.
If you want to win, if you want to, I said this many, many times.
Yeah.
If you want to win, you would have done it.
No, of course.
Listen,
I'm not going to lie, of course.
And one day he's going to have to wake up, eat a fat breakfast, and be like, I'm going to go and get this man. And I'm going to do it now.
Yeah.
You got to have that dog. Liverpool would do it. City will do it. Chelsea will do it. All these other clubs are doing it.
Yeah.
I know you can do it because, come on, you got the likes of Havertz, Trossard, Jorginho, Rice, baby, all these man.
Yeah.
You can do it.
100%.
Yeah, we're just missing that. We're missing that elite finisher.
Little piece.
Yeah, 100%.
That elite finisher.
And I think we need to strengthen up a bench as well, like for like impact players on the bench. Like, I think our bench is very. I think Ranieri is becoming that elite player, that player come off the bench who can change the game. But we need more players like him, like more experienced pros who can come off the bench. And if we're losing 1-0, they can change the game. Maybe Cunha could be one of them wants to come off the bench and change the game.
You know the best way to get a better bench?
What?
Buy a player to bench your starter. So, for example, at Arsenal, I would look at the two main areas I'd look to get a replacement in right now is centre forward and the left wing. Someone to bench Martinelli and someone to bench whoever's up there, whether it be Havertz or Jesus. I like the two of them. I like all three of those players. But I feel like with what we want to do this season and going forward, we need numbers now.
It needs to be ruthless.
We need numbers now. Like, you can't be Saka all the... Like, Odegaard was out injured for how many games? And look at how poor we were attacking-wise. We couldn't get goals, couldn't get wins. We were struggling to do stuff.
We've been linked to Gula as well from Real Madrid. That might be a loan. But I don't know, man. He looks a bit too lightweight for the Premier League, man. He looks very lightweight.
I think he needs to stay where he is for a little bit longer. Just be patient. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
January's not
a lot
far
of
away.
time to go. And also, Ishak could be one his contract talks have stalled a little bit. So that could be one we make a push for in January.
70 mil. Take him.
But I feel like whatever happens, Arsenal have to do some business this window.
100%.
Because we've made some bad moves in the league in terms of our play and the points accumulation. It's not good enough for what we wanted to do this year, so we need to step it up.
And we'll ship out some players like as much as I love Tomiyasu, I think it's time for him to move on now. If we get a good offer for him, ship him on. Kieran Tierney, ship him on. Because he's not playing, he's not going to get minutes.
Even getting an upgrade on Partey would be much appreciated.
And get rid of Kivior as well, get a better defender than Kivior who can defend. Kivior, yeah.
But there's work to be done, and we'll see how it goes. But hey, look, there's one thing we can all say this week. Let's all laugh at Man City.
Ha 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 ha.
And we'll be back next time.
Peace out.
Peace.
Love.